I think what you're trying to ask is
and its impacts
why
on
am I
financial
so
stability. Yes or no?
upon
I will analyze black unemployment
giving out
rates.
to them that
Wonderful. And when will you get us a
blackness,
report and a
that
plan of action? I was thinking March 6th.
I can't commit to a date.
Okay. All right. Well, I think March 6th makes sense. I'd give you over a month, which is more than enough time to convene that working group and to report out your findings. I know you already have the infrastructure to do that. So at the end of the day, Black families, Black futures, and the lives and livelihoods of all who call this country home are depending on you to act. And with that, happy Black History Month. Have you been paying attention to the high rate of unemployment for Black workers?
It is traditionally higher than for all workers.
Well, listen, it's through the roof right now. There's hundreds of thousands of Black workers that have been pushed out of the workforce, and the unemployment rates for Black workers and all workers are among the highest they've been since the COVID-19 pandemic. Black workers contribute over $1 trillion to the U.S. economy, but the push out of these workers from the workforce has led to a loss of $37 billion in the GDP, with Black women being among, just so y'all know, the most educated and most active in seeking work. Their push out is a glaring warning sign for where our economy is headed, because Black workers, Black women in particular, have always been the canaries in the coal mine. So this is a problem for everyone. Black women are bearing the brunt, but everyone will feel this hurt. I have led letters to Fed Chair Powell calling for action to be taken. He is also a member of FSOC. So I want to ask you, Mr. Secretary, will you commit to analyzing Black unemployment rates specifically and its impacts on financial stability? Yes or no?
I will analyze black unemployment rates.
Wonderful. And when will you get us a report and a plan of action? I was thinking March 6th.
I can't commit to a date.
Okay. All right. Well, I think March 6th makes sense. I'd give you over a month, which is more than enough time to convene that working group and to report out your findings. I know you already have the infrastructure.
Good morning and welcome to Black Press USA's morning show, Let It Be Known. And this is where we bring you science, the culture, and this morning, a little faith. So that was Rep. Ayanna Pressley talking about some issues that we're going to get to a little later in the show. But before we get into all of it, I want to welcome our co-host this morning. He's the pastor of the historic Weller Street Missionary Baptist Church, the Western Regional Director of Impact, and the author of the powerful new book, Born to Make a Difference. Welcome, Pastor Reverend K.W. TULLOUS. Good morning.
So happy. Good morning. Good morning. So happy to be here with you, Ms. Neal. So happy to be here with your viewers. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah, it is. You know, the Congressional Black Caucus is really doing some pushing on Capitol Hill. Good morning, chat. One of our faithful viewers, Orange G, says, who is the sister who pressed the DHS official about him going to hell? She said that. I salute her. That was Congressmember LaMonica McIver. If you recall, she is the Congressmember out of New Jersey who is facing at least 20 years in federal prison for advocating for her constituents and advocated for those who are being unlawfully detained by ICE. Did you see that video, Reverend TULLOUS?
I was so impressed. I'm glad that our Congress officials are up in DC really pushing and pressing these federal leaders in reference to so many of these issues that we're seeing around the world. I'm glad to have people up there holding people accountable and really pointing out the truth. That's what we need today. The truth will make you free.
That's right. That's right. And of course, that was Ayanna Pressley talking about
Yes.
the rising unemployment for Black people, and specifically Black women, who we have more details a little bit later. But I have another video. Since we have you, Pastor, on the show, I thought you would be the perfect person to have this conversation with. Earlier this week, Dietrich Haddon, as well as the Church of God in Christ. The Church of God in Christ put out a statement about Donald Trump posting those pictures of the Obama, and then Dietrich Haddon, I hope we have it ready. He had this to say.
I'm going to try to be cool. You know, I've been low key. You know, that's how I'm gonna start the new year, chill. You know, I ain't gonna really, you know, just focus on my music and my ministry, you know. But it's posts like the one today from Trump that dishonors and disrespects not only the former president of the United States and his beautiful wife, Michelle Obama, but dishonors and disrespects an entire race that he's supposed to be leading in this country. He wasn't capable then to lead, and he's not capable now. And it's foolery like this that just reveals it to everybody. We're calling for a public apology to not only President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama, but the entire Black race. And any church or evangelical organization that's silent in this matter, it speaks volumes to us. You know who you are. I don't need to say names. Just like you can get up and praise President Trump or with all this false information that he's the greatest president. You know it's false. You know it. But this is the point in time where we want to see you as believers stand up for what is right. When you know the president is off his rocker, tell him. But if you don't tell him, we tell him. He is out of order, and we call him for a public apology. Now, I'm Dietrich Haddon, and I approve this message.
That was gospel recording artist Dietrich Haddon. I mean, the church is mad. I mean, my pastor was talking about it on Sunday. Who do you think, though, Reverend TULLOUS, Dietrich Haddon was calling out?
Well, we all know that, Dietrich, had a hit with the one and only Paula White, I believe her name, Evangelist Paula White, one that was very, very popular in the African-American community because she sounded like a sister, and one who's been really holding the coat of the president these last 5 or 6 years he's been president. The reality is, bravo to Pastor Dietrich Haddon. I'm so grateful for his voice and his insight. He was spot on. And so at the end of the day, how can you sit around and protect someone who is clearly showing who he is and how he cares about our history and our people and our community? We heard it in the numbers earlier with Black unemployment being so high and things of that matter. Thank you, Pastor Dietrich Haddon, for having that courage and speaking out. And we need more pastors like Pastor Haddon and others that I've seen across the world really, really bring a light to this horrible act of disgust from our president.
For sure, and I'm surprised that many others haven't, he didn't say her name, but if they have a single together from back in the 90s or early 2000s, The Walls Are Tumbling Down. And we know that Paula White was Juanita Bynum in the Black church in the early 2000s. She would come from Bishop T.D. Jakes' church to Bishop Noel Jones's church. Yeah. I heard her testimony about how she came from a trailer park and picked herself up. And all of us was falling out. Oh, look at the white lady. Oh, praise them, white lady. Praise them.
Well,
and she flipped on us.
Well, I don't think she flipped on her. I just think, the trash came out of her.
She used it.
I think, hey, her message resonated. We clearly understand, but we see, white privilege at its best.
So, at its best, because she is in the White House praying against everything that she represented in the early 2000s.
She is the pastor of the president of the United States. And if the pastor cannot bring correction to his members, something is wrong.
I want my offering back.
I want a whole lot of things back. The reality is America, Black America, all of our viewers, we got to start praying, because when the leaders of our congregation can't hold our members accountable for some of their depicted acts, something is wrong. And so this is the times that we're living in. And this calls us again to a brighter and stronger moral call to just continue to push and pray.
Right, right. And I hope that more pastors begin to say her name and call her out, because she definitely used the Black church to get to where she is. And she just needs to be called out. A lot of people don't know her history and her connection to the Black church, but you know, she called Bishop T.D. Jakes her father. I remember on her knees in front of him. You know what I'm saying? So for her behavior and for her to condone that and to be praying for that, she needs to be called out a lot more. But we can go on and on. But I think that it's important for people to know who Paula White really is and how she has used the Black community. But let's jump into, she's showing herself. Let's jump into our morning poll. So chat, this is for you. So pay attention and you let us know what you think. In 2026, what is the most important role for the Black church to play in our community? Is it A, be a sanctuary? Is it B, a political hub? Is it C, an economic engine? Is it D, a spiritual refuge? So what do you think the Black church should be? Pastor, I'll start with you.
Well, that's a good, thank you. Listen, A, B, C, D, I would have to put an E and say all of the above. We can't get around the sanctuary, a political hub, an economic engine, a spiritual refuge. I mean, that is the church in its fullness. I think that if the Black church want to continue to remain relevant, we got to be all of the above. We can't be a one size, one shop center for the hope. We have to be all of the above. That's mine. I'm sorry, I know it's not on there, but I have to put that all of the above.
All right, we got that yesterday too. David Youngblood is saying C, an economic engine, meaning reparations, housing, and wealth building. Let's see. Dr. Marilyn says a spiritual refuge. So we're talking about focusing strictly on health and faith. And then Helen Brown said, talking about Paula White, she used the Black church in a mighty way. She practiced the style and Black people fell for it, a wolf in sheep's clothing. And then eyes towards heaven says D, and D is a spiritual refuge. And Helen is with you. She's saying E, all of the above. So chat, keep letting us know how you feel about the role of the Black church today. Is it a sanctuary, A? Is it B, a political hub? C, an economic engine? Or D, a spiritual refuge? So keep chiming in the chat.
Let me say this, Neil. If I had to pick one, it probably would have been D, a spiritual refuge. Because if you're a spiritual refuge, you can encompass all of the others and make sure, that the healing of mind, body, and soul, that's what the church is all about. Church is the hospital full of sick folks trying to get well.
Right. And you know, like Bishop Noah Jones always says, no matter how good you feel when you leave the sanctuary, take your medicine.
Take your medicine.
Take your medicine.
Go to your doctor.
That's right. Michelle Madison says all of the above. Okay. So keep chatting, keep chiming in. Let's go ahead.
I said, bring it on.
Bring it on. Okay, let's jump into our first story. And we're starting with the Afro News, which is a Black press affiliate. It's reporting that the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation has officially kicked off its 50th anniversary. Now, with 62 members, the largest in history, the foundation is launching 50 acts of service in 50 cities. Now, they are also spotlighting a voice digital archive, which preserves the history of Black legislative power that the current administration is accused of trying to rewrite. And we know that the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation is the one that puts on the Congressional Black Caucus annual legislative conference every year. And of course, they have the powerful internship for Black students. So you can go on Capitol Hill and learn about being a legislator and just a person of service and civic participation. And so, Reverend TULLOUS, you are a avid participant of the Congressional Black Caucus annual legislative conference.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about this foundation?
I love it. I mean, I love the Congressional Black Caucus. This is an opportunity for us all to come together and to really talk about the best practices going on nationally, all across the world, in every state. I'm very pumped up about what they're doing with this acts of service. I think they need to do a lot more within our communities, and we all can come back to DC in September, send it around and gather and again learn from each other. Iron sharpening iron. That's what the Black Caucus is all about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also excited that they're preserving our voices, preserving those such as the John Lewis and those Adam Clayton Powell, those who have been in Congress, those who have
Don't
been
forget about Mother Shirley Chisholm. Let's not forget about her.
Yes, Shirley Chisholm. I was talking about, the preachers, forgive me. But
okay,
yeah,
Charlie Rangel. We can talk about Charlie Rangel. Yeah.
We can go on and on and on. The reality is, we need to preserve, because again, as we see with this this divide that's happening across the country, they're trying to take our voices away and take our history away. And so ultimately, I think it's an awesome task of the Black Caucus to make sure we get out and we serve and we preserve.
Right. And if you don't know, there are 3 branches of the CBC. You have like the members, then you have the foundation who produces the annual legislative conference, and then you have the PAC, which I believe Gregory Meeks is still over, and they're the ones that raise the money to support the re-elections of Congressional Black Caucus members. And so, they're holding the line. We just saw Ayanna Pressley talking about the high rate of unemployment among Black people. Orange G brought up LaMonica McIver, and she was calling out the Secretary of Treasury and asking him about his faith. Okay.
Yes.
Jasmine Crockett, always on the front line. And
one of my favorites.
We love her. Okay. And we should be supporting her as we look at the midterms coming up, as we talk about why representation is important. This is the hub of all of it on a federal level, the Congressional Black Caucus. And so go ahead.
Let me say, Neil, with 62 members on this Congressional Black Caucus, now is the time for us to really be pushing policies, pushing an agenda that's conducive to our community. So many times we have individuals that's just holding the weight, but the reality is this is the time. And I'm glad that the Black Caucus Foundation is going to do their best to go out and show some acts of service and preserve our voices. I mean, 62 voices, record high. They're trying to cut them down the line as we see with these redistricting going on around the country. The reality is the Black voice is strong. It's super strong right now. Let's do it. Let's keep it loud.
Let's keep it loud. Well, one of those 62 has just got a challenger who really, one of them, I think, this is going around LA right now. Los Angeles native and cancer survivor Mila Rahman is looking to unseat Maxine Waters. And this is like news that is just breaking, that is coming out. Now, Waters, of course, is an institution of Los Angeles Democratic politics. Rahman, who is seeking to capitalize on the national wave of generational change makers. Now, Rahman is a Democrat. She is a nonprofit executive, and she hopes to turn Waters' 35 years in Congress and 50 years overall as an elected official against her, arguing the 87-year-old incumbent has lost touch with her district. What do you say, Rev?
Well, listen, Mila Rahman is one of our strong leaders. She's a young lady I really respect, I love, I honor. I mean, she has been a voice for many years, I'm so grateful that she had the courage to stand up and to really, fight against the status quo, to really push the agenda that she cares mostly about. About healthcare, about making sure everyone has the right to affordable healthcare. I mean, we can celebrate the work of the great Maxine Waters. There's no voice like her. That's Auntie Maxine. Everybody can resonate with Auntie Maxine. But the problem is, when we come to a lot of these seats, we have no succession plan. So I give Mila a thumbs up for saying, hey, I'll get out there and I'll do it. I'll go against the status quo. That takes a lot of courage. And I'm so proud of her that she's able to do that and allowing the people of that district to really, pick and see who they feel has the better voice. We need to start pushing and challenging those within our community to really do what we need to do. When we think of that seat, that district, I think I was reading the other day, is the demographics, the age line is 35 years of age. And so sometimes, those in the younger generation, they feel that their issues are not being addressed. So I'm thankful that Mila stepped up. She's a wonderful person. She's one I respect, I love, and I also respect Congresswoman Maxine Waters. But again, kudos stepping up and really trying to fight and bring a voice to this election. And let's see what the people say. It's all about.
I think that's a huge conversation here in LA. Like, who is Rep Waters grooming to pass the baton to? And every time you ask that question, nobody has an answer, which is problematic. But at the same time, you think about what happened in DC with Eleanor Holmes and how she didn't want to step down. And they're around the same age. And so, the question is the district ready to make that change? And like you say, status quo. I mean, you really don't, you don't really go against the status quo here in LA. You just follow the agenda. And so as we see with Mila, it's like, well, I know I'm not going to say too much because I want to go to the Maxine Waters CBC gala.
I do too. We have a wonderful time every year there. And like I said, I love the work of our Congresswoman. She has been a fixture for a long time. But again, kudos to Mila for having that, Mila for stepping up and saying, hey, I'm ready to do it. I mean, I knew of her work. I've seen her. She was an elected official in the city of Carson, and because of health challenges, she stepped to the side to battle her cancer that she had, and she has been a courageous warrior. And so, I mean, I can't fight her for doing what she's doing.
Wait, are we breaking news? Are we breaking news? Are you endorsing Mila?
I'm not endorsing anyone at this time. Okay. I'm praying for Mila, and I'm praying for our Congresswoman to continue to keep up the fight. The reality is I respect and I love both of them women. And hey, we're going to have, at the end of the day, we're going to have a great representative.
Okay.
Go Congresswoman.
Okay, you know what? So this is how you get them. Now they're going to be seeking his endorsement, okay? Because Reverend TULLOUS is an endorsement that you want in LA. And so I see what you're doing. Thank you so much. Nancy Wall says Auntie Maxine should be proud of her proud of her and push her into her seat, pass the baton. That's from Nancy Wall. And then Dr. Marilyn says it's time to pass. Eddie Bernice Johnson prepared Jasmine Crockett to take her spot. And so, yeah, I mean, that is a huge question, y'all, out here in LA. Like, who is her? Who's going to take her spot? Who is she passing the baton to? Who is she grooming? I heard it was some pastor here in LA, but nobody could ever tell me his name.
Well, I've heard the same pastor. I've heard all these rumors and rumblings, but we've been talking about this for 20 years. I can only imagine the toll. I mean, I go to CBC and I'm tired. So Congresswoman is going there every single week. But she's there fighting for the people. What we need, and I think we all can agree, we need someone that's going to bring the fight, someone that's going to really focus on many of the issues in our community. And between the Congresswoman Maxine and between Mila Rahma, I think we have, that's going to be something else we need to watch in LA. That's going to be a watch.
I did see Congressmember Maxine Waters. I think it was the treasurer, the secretary of treasury. She told him to shut up. She said, reclaiming my time.
Reclaim it. Mila's trying to reclaim that seat.
Yeah. So we'll try to get both of them on the show. Maybe you can help us make that happen. You can
Let's
bring
do
them
it.
back. You can come back and you can bring them with you.
I love it.
Okay.
Love
All right.
it.
Y'all heard that. Y'all heard that. All right. So let's move on to what we saw Rep. Ayanna Presley talking about earlier. There's a 2025-2026 economic crisis, and it's termed a Black recession. And this is by the Joint Center for Political and Economic Studies. Now, Black unemployment has rose to 7.5 by December of 2025. And let's keep in mind that Black people only make up 13% of the national population. And this 7.5 unemployment rate is driven by the federal job cuts, AI disruption, and policy roadblocks. Now, this localized recession outlined in the State of the Dream 2026 report shows Black unemployment at levels that would signal a national recession, with over 200,000 Black women affected by federal job losses. Now, this is something that should alarm the nation.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, this is a crisis. This is a something that the African American community has been struggling with these last few years. I mean, it's not easy surviving here in America. And the reality is, I'm thankful for those in the Black caucus that's really sharing their voices, that's really pushing the narrative, the right narrative. I mean, we hear about, oh, the job market is up and things of that matter, but not for our community. And if you look at the numbers, we're struggling. I mean, we can't find jobs. We're the most educated, as you talked about earlier, but we can't get a good, decent paying job. The recession, the inflation, things of that matter. I mean, we are struggling, and that's why we need individuals that's going to shine a light on this crisis in our community, because people are talking about all these other things, Epstein's and things. There are people literally that's hungry, that's educated and hungry, you know, and the reality is, you know, we have to do a better job in marketing with the new way of the world. I mean, we are suffering and struggling, and if there's never a time for us to bring awareness, is now. So I'm thankful for Ayanna Presley and the other legislatures that's trying to do their best to bring that light to this dark situation, because our community is struggling. Reality.
Yeah, 100%. Another Congressional Black Caucus member wears the cloth too. I'm talking about Reverend Raphael Warnock, who is a senator and who was very strategic in helping pass legislation or push legislation through for Black farmers. But of course, when the Trump administration came in, that's almost null and void. But Black farmers have been cut out of talks with the Trump administration after Reverend Warnock pushed so much, you know, equity forward for Black farmers. Trump has erased it. And John Boyd Jr., president of the National Black Farmers Association, recently appeared on MSNBC, and take a look at what he had to say.
When I tried to attend the president's farm meeting that he had several weeks ago at the White House, there wasn't one Black farmer at the table. As a matter of fact, there wasn't one Black person in the room. And they told me I couldn't attend the White House meeting, something about they were moving away from DEI. I'm talking to you from my farm. There's no DEI on my farm. You know, my cattle eat the same amount of hay. My tractor burns the same amount of diesel fuel, and I have to be able to produce a crop here just like everybody else.
I'm sorry, what? There was a farm meeting at the White House. You tried to go. Were you there physically? Did they turn you away at the door? Or
well, the farm community is a very small community. So people were telling me that there was going to be a farm meeting, and I reached out to the White House to attend, and that's the feedback that they got. In fact, they said they were moving away from the black farmer issue. They were moving away from D. But you know, when I tried to attend the president's farm meeting that he had,
so his comments come as U.S. farmers face mounting pressure from President Donald Trump's tariffs policies, of course. And he's also said the billions in federal relief Trump claims reach farmers have not.
I think we have come to a point to understanding that Blacks are excluded when it comes to the White House, when it comes to our cabinet leaders. I mean, this has been a crisis. Our Black farmers who have land, who's producing the cattle and the vegetables that's needed in our community, we're being left out. The reality is this has nothing to do with DEI, as they say. It has everything to do with access to a greater country, a greater America. And at the end of the day, I stand with Mr. Boyd, who has been a strong advocate for Black farmers throughout the years. And his voice should have been at that table because, again, so many people are turning a deaf eye to the crisis that we're facing in America. And, you know, when we talk about these tariffs and things of that, a lot of our individual people, those in the world that's doing the work, it's not helping those that's really doing the work. So we need to get money to our Black farmers, to those who are out there doing the land, and make sure they're continue to thrive as they try to do each and every single day with nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy that they say you can't come because we're not doing DEI. And to Mr. Boyd's point, he was like, I use tractors, the same thing that the white farmers are using, I'm using. It's like, you know, we go to church, Black people, we do the same thing the white folks do. We buy gas, we go grocery shopping, you know, we do this, we watch TV, we purchase the same streaming apps, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, what do you mean? This meeting isn't for Black people, which I'm glad to flip the script about how the White House is picking and choosing. The National Governors Association has declined to go to the White House as a body. We talked about earlier this week how Governor Wes Moore, who spoke out, was excluded from attending, but they made it about, you know, Democratic governors. But for a Black man, the only governor in the United States, he felt a certain way about it.
No doubt about it.
You know, and so I just want to say, so I'm glad that the Republican governors, or as a body, they all decided to decline.
That was a good move. And, you know, at the end of the day, we want to continue to stand behind our Black farmers. We want to continue to press the White House, let them know they should be at the table with the other farmers. And the reality is we're seeing that we're locked out of the White House.
You know, I don't think anybody wants to go, but on a good note, the Black press has a seat in the White House press briefing room, and that is important. And so, you know, the Black press celebrates 199 years of news, views, and advocacy. So there is a seat for us to find out what's happening. And Lauren Burke, who is our Virginia newspaper, she is going to be sitting in that seat from time to time to make sure that we get the news we need.
Congratulations. And so we can push the questions, why are Black people not at the table?
But just a clarification, we have been in the White House. We have an actual seat now. That just so that people don't think that we just getting in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
we've been in the White House. We have an actual seat, and there's a difference. So you don't have to stand up, you know, and you know how that works when you're part of a club, you know, then you get a seat, you know, you're getting close to the front of the bus. Hopefully.
One of my favorite movies was The Butler. We had a seat then too.
What was it? I don't know. I'm not familiar with that movie.
With Forrest Whitaker, The Butler. Oprah
Oh,
Winfrey.
The Butler. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I did see that. That was a good movie. It's Black History Month, so let's put that on the list. The Butler.
You got to look at the Butler. We had a seat in the White House.
Okay, Rev. Okay. Let's talk a little church news. Today, the Los Angeles community and the Church of God in Christ, Kojic, family are gathering at the West Angeles Cathedral for the celebration of life for Elder Lawrence Blake. Now, Elder Lawrence is the youngest son of presiding Bishop Emeritus Charles E. Blake Sr. and First Lady Emeritus Lady Mae Blake. Lawrence passed away on January 27th at the age of 54 due to a battle with cancer. Now, he was very popular throughout the Kojic denomination as well as here in LA. And so we just want to lift him up in prayer, the Kojic family, and of course the Blake family as well. Did you know Lawrence?
Yeah, I knew Elder Blake. I've worked with him on various issues. Of course, his father, his brother, his wife, his children. My prayers go out to the Blake family, who, within the last year has been devastated with deaths within their family. Elder Lawrence Blake, well, the preacher's preacher. He can preach. He can preach the word of God, and life well lived. Young brother. And I just can't imagine a father losing a son, a brother losing a younger brother. That Blake family is church royalty here in Los Angeles and around the world. So yeah, I stand with you in praying for his wife and his children and his church family. I believe Palm Avenue Church of God in Christ, right in Central. Our prayers are out to them as they lost a strong leader. Well, yeah. A strong leader has went to glory to get his crown. So mad prayers to Bishop Charles Blake.
Yeah, that was Bishop Charles Blake on that picture. And at the time, the presiding Bishop, G.E. Patterson.
Yes.
And I think that Bishop Blake, definitely praying for the family. But, he is, when you think about what a bishop and a church leader should be, it is definitely Bishop Blake. Just a quick story about him. He had a small church here on Crenshaw, and he said that he would not, the Lord told him, don't buy nothing. Don't buy no car, don't buy no nothing until you build the cathedral. Now the cathedral it's less than a mile away from the old North Campus, and that's gone. But it is a beautiful urban. Is it not urban? It's not all white and gold, and it is a beautiful urban cathedral. And Bishop Blake did not buy a car. They Elder Lawrence and his son now, who is the pastor, they used to tease him like, you are so embarrassing with that junky car. He did what the Lord told him to do. And then he said after the cathedral was built, he was at a dinner at the mayor's house, and the car dealership owner, I think it was General Motors or something, was there. And Bishop Blake told him the story. Bishop Blake said he never had to buy a car again.
Wow.
Never
Amazing.
had to buy a car again. But the work that they do here in LA, they have owned. Oh my gosh. On down Crenshaw, what do they? Senior citizen homes, recreational facilities. When you talk about a church that is serving the community, definitely West Angeles and that CDC, who's led now by Belinda Allen, but before Dr. Lula Balton. The work that they do is really, to me, the representation of what a church should do. And you do it too, Reverend TULLOUS at Weller, giving back, feeding ministries, back to school events. That is the work of the church. And so, what are your thoughts on the church today?
Well, again, that is the work of the church, and kudos to West Angeles and the Blake family for laying that foundation. Chip Murray, all those who have laid that foundation here in Los Angeles. And I think the church don't get enough credit for the work that we do. Recently, I'm involved with a new collaboration of younger pastors and leaders called UFC, United Faith Coalition, that we're designed. We want to help build the capacity of the church, not just the bigger churches in the community, but all churches. So we're led by Reverend Pastor Jeremy Dixon, Pastor Shep Crawford, Pastor Michael Fisher, myself, Pastor Sister Lisa Collins, and Angie Elvis, and John DeCure, another young, exciting pastor in Pasadena. And we're going to really do our best to build capacity, make sure churches are at the table when it comes to a lot of this foundation money, when it comes to a lot of individuals that's looking to give back in the community. We believe, again, the church is ground zero. This is the place where hurting people come. Before they go to a welfare office, before they go to a legislator, they come to the church and they're seeking help and refuge. And so United Faith Coalition is what we're called. And we're going to do our best here in Los Angeles to set that trend, to let the world know that we're doing whatever we can to build capacity. If you have a pastor with a vision, a pastor with a heart to serve, we want you to be a part of UFC, because we want to help build and bring that vision, a path to make Los Angeles and the world a better place. So I'm committed to doing that. Other pastors are committed to doing that. Thank you, Bishop Blake. Thank you, Chip Murray. Thank you, Dr. Hill. All of those who have set the tone for us to really serve our communities throughout this world.
And yeah, you brought up Reverend Chip Murray, who has since passed, but he was the pastor of First Family Church, the church that Biddy Mason founded.
Yes.
And the work that he did, it was during the civil unrest, let me say, the 1992 civil unrest. He was instrumental with calming the gang violence, him and Danny Bakewell Sr., who now owns the LA Sentinel. And then you brought up Lisa Collins and what you're doing now. And Lisa Collins is the publisher of LA Focus, whose focus content is on the Black church. So you should check out LA Focus, another affiliate of the NPA.
Kudos to LA Focus.
Yeah, and you brought up some of my favorite people, Pastor Fisher, Shep Crawford. We've had him on the show before.
Yes.
And so, this is like the work
Jeremy
of the
Dixon and the Cure, so we're grateful for all of them. These are young brothers that I admire. These are brothers, again, this is the future of the church. This is the future of the movement here in Los Angeles. We're coming together. We're not gang banging. We're not fighting. We're trying to make a difference, because we're all born to make a difference.
Right now, what is the impact? You said you're a part of MPAC?
Yeah. So Impact is a new organization here in Los Angeles. It's called, it's the acronyms for Mobilizing Preachers and Communities. Many people know me in my work in social justice, civil rights, with National Action Network, civil rights organization. I'm taking on this new journey and working with Impact, mobilizing preachers and communities. That's what I do. I can mobilize, organize, and I want to take on this new challenge to help bring another voice to the Western region of this country. Because again, when we look at all that's happening around the world, as we read through the Black press, the reality is we need to make sure our voices are heard, and we want to make sure we stand for justice, and that's what Impact is all about. And I'm grateful to be leading that work. We started in October. We've had a few events, major events, and we're looking forward to doing some major work starting here in Los Angeles, taking it across the Western region, as I did the National Action Network.
That's right. You did some great work with Reverend Al Sharpton, and you still work with him and affiliate with him.
Reverend Sharpton is my activist father.
All right, let's talk
father of the activism.
Let's talk a little bit about gospel music. Any gospel music fans out there? If they are, let us know who your favorite gospel artist is in the chat. As we talk about a new wave of Christian rap, Afrobeats, and R&B artists are officially pushing the Recording Academy to create a dedicated rhythm and praise Grammy category. Now, many of the traditional Black church leaders are embracing this shift to Gen Z. engaged music, while others are debating whether the beat overshadows the Bible. So what are your thoughts? When we think of like old hymns and Thomas Dorsey and, even like, traditional choirs like the Mississippi Mass Choir or James Cleveland. And then, we've had this transition and we talked about Dietrich Haddon, Kirk Franklin's, the Mary Marys, and now we have this Afro beats. Do you think that we are losing the essence of what gospel music is today?
I don't think so. I'm a traditionalist. I mean, I'm a Baptist pastor, but the reality is, I love all the old school, but I love what I'm hearing with this new school vibe. God don't play about me. The message that people are really pushing in the music and the beats today. I mean, you can party, you can dance, you can shout. I think God wants us to have a joyful life. And so I think as the world evolved, our music evolved. I think our creativity evolved. And the reality is we got to continue to push creativity. I remember a time, Nia, when we talked about how, and you can go back to this, when they was talking about how radical Kirk Franklin was. And, just watching his music evolve through the year and how we've gotten away from saying things of that matter. So I'm thankful at the elevation of gospel music. And like I said, we have to just continue to evolve, and we gotta meet the masses. And so, it's not a one size fit all type of way to doing things. The reality is, again, we got to embrace our culture and understand that things evolve through the years.
I mean, I agree. I agree. And I do like the norm. God don't play about me. It turned. But there is nothing like a hymn. The song that when I look at my playlist, the song that I played the most in 2025 was "Having You There" by the Mississippi Mass Choir.
Yeah.
It's something about the choirs. It's something about just the lyrics. God don't play about me, but then you have we've come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, like you say, I like it all. It depends on my time of day, but I'm sorry, like the classic, I just
let me say this. A lot of people don't know that Neil was one of our great gospel hosts back in the days here in Los Angeles, not putting no age on her date, but the reality is old school would give me all the time, and so, yes, but you got to have a blend of it all. Again, right. What gets me might not get you. I mean, we have a push for this worship music. I mean, and a lot of people are like, oh, I ain't into all that stuff, but I mean, it moves me. Anytime you're singing about Jesus, it's going to move me. Right. The reality is we have to just be able to evolve and not game bang when it comes to gospel music.
Right. Because that is true, because, we went from the choirs to praise and worship.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when, so yeah, the gospel music has evolved, because somebody like Judy McAllister, when she was like the queen of praise and worship. And then you have like a Byron Cage, the prince of praise and worship. That's what he used to call himself. But music has evolved. And I think, you just have to meet the needs of the church, the church in its congregation. Please.
Let me say one more thing, Neil, about that. The reason why we have evolved from the choir to praise and worship is because y'all don't want to sing no more. Y'all need to get back, volunteer, be a part of your choirs. If you all come together and want to sing, guess what? We have the choir again. Now we have to revert to having praise and worship, 2 or 3 people up there sing. That's because we need to get back to the landmark and understand that everybody can be a part, make a joyful noise unto the Lord. That's what we're supposed to do.
Right. I think COVID messed up the choir thing too. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah. Well, hey, we can blame it on COVID, but y'all need to get out there and sing.
All right, y'all. We have another poll for you to try, since we're talking about the church. So we see a shift in who is filling the pews today. What is the number one thing that would make young people more committed to the Black church? Is it A, see more women and youth in senior leadership? B, using technology, AI, modernize the message. C, taking a harder stand on social justice issues. Or D, providing more mental health and trauma support. All right, what do you say, Reb?
Listen, I looked at that list. You know, young people are a little different today. I mean, even though I'm a younger pastor, et cetera, but the generation below is a little different. And I do all of those things. And, you know, I have an impact on certain young people. But the reality is, I will say we got to do all of the above. And we pray that the young people will continue to make their way to ministry and do. I mean, they're more thinkers today. You know, they think a lot, YouTube friendly a lot. So that technology thing is real big when it comes to our young people. You know, the reality is we have to do our best to really push that message and make sure the message of Christ is resonating in their life. And we have to just try to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out. And I ask my friend, Pastor Fisher, all the time, how do you do it? How do you get all them young people in your church?
And Pastor Fisher is singing. You know what I'm saying?
And
He's
making
videos.
I try to do it, but I mean, hey, I'm only a couple of years older. I'd be trying to do it all, but I mean, hey, we got to reach them at all costs, though, because it's important. Because they're not only the church of tomorrow, they're the church of today. They're the church again that people are saying that that's a dying breed. That's why we have to make sure we make that impact. And I say all of the above. I've tried.
I think I would say, well, first, I think music is it's probably second to the word. You know, you got to have a charismatic pastor, but if the music is right, it is going to really help the church.
I agree.
But I think I'm going to go with, I'll go with C, taking a harder stand on social justice issues, because, you know, that's meeting the needs of the people. I think I'll go with C.
Well, let me say, Neil, if it was C, my church would be full. No, I agree that we have to make sure our voices are heard and our moral conscience is out there when it comes to many of our issues that our community, our young people are facing in today's generation. So I like that one.
Yeah, I like C, but you know what? I think I'm gonna add an E, and I think it's the music ministry. Music is gonna bring people there because
that's my biggest budget.
Music is so music is typically the biggest budget in the church. Would you say that across the board for all churches?
100%. And I think most pastors understand that. That's why they make such a huge investment within that. Between my outreach and music, those are neck and neck when it comes to serving people. Is what we do, you know. And so yes, I like music.
All right. Yeah, for sure, because the Black church is a part of the Black experience. You have Black press, you have Black church, and then you have Black leadership. And so
Trusted Voices.
Trusted Voices. That's the name of your choir?
No, that's the name of all of that you just named.
Oh, Trusted Voices.
Media, Black, all the people we trust.
Let me write that name, Trusted Voices. That's a good name.
That's it. Come on.
All right. Before
melodies of heaven rain down on me.
All right. So I-10 Tover says, reach them by enlightenment and making fear of the Lord there no real truth telling. Several gospel singers, James Cleveland's music holds a special place in my heart. Gen X. I am so with you on James Cleveland. Did you ever see the Aretha Franklin movie to when she recorded that album in James Cleveland's church here in LA? It was
at wasn't James Cleveland church, but it's C.L. Burroughs church right on Broadway in Manchester. I can't think of it, but it's a Baptist church. And so I know that history well. Amazing Grace. Got to look at that documentary when you get a chance.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good Black history documentary to watch. The making of it, and Aretha and her daddy came. It was really good. But before we get out of here, let's jump into some Black history facts. Today, in 1958, The first Black flight attendant, Ruth Carroll Taylor, broke racial barriers by becoming the first African-American flight attendant on a Mohawk Airlines flight. So that was our first Black flight attendant. Then fast forward to 1975, the Jeffersons, George and Wheezy, moved on up and premiered. Of course, the iconic sitcom focused on Black family moving to a luxury Manhattan apartment, premiered, breaking ground for its portrayal of race, class, and social mobility. Were you a Jeffersons watcher?
I was a big time Jefferson watcher. Moving on up.
Moving on up.
We,
Most of the stuff that George was saying, he could not say it today. He would be canceled.
Kudos to Norman Lear, who was a strong supporter of the African American community. Rest in peace, Norman. And Sherman Hemsley.
Yeah.
Was a great actor, and all of them. Thank you for the Jeffersons.
Right, but it wouldn't be. But it couldn't be a Jeffersons today on TV.
No, it can't be an Archie. It can be an Archie Bump. Well, I guess you got Donald Trump, so
you can't say honky today on TV. And George said it all the time.
Well,
all right,
you, Archie Bunker, you don't say some things like that.
Right. Okay, that is true. Let's fast forward to 1990. Nelson Mandela was released. Anti-apartheid leader was released from prison after 27 years. And so it was a global affair. And so many people, once he was released, got to spend some time with him and just celebrate him. So we remember that significant moment today of when he was released from prison. All right. And then fast forward to 2012. Whitney Houston passed today, y'all. Wow. She was found dead at 48 at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. So we remember Whitney Houston. What's your favorite Whitney Houston song?
I Will Always Love You, Whitney Houston. I know Dolly Parton sung it, but I like Whitney Houston version. And it was another one when I was a kid. We used to sing it. I can't think of it right now. That
Want to dance with somebody? I'm your baby tonight.
No, I believe the children are the future. Teach them
okay.
Let them lead the way.
Okay, that one. My favorite one. This is probably people don't know. It's Lover for Life. That was my favorite Whitney Houston song. And then of course she had so many. And so of course Orange G says bring back real Black TV shows. They weren't afraid to speak on real issues. And Norman Lear is a thief. He stole everything from a Black man.
I read that.
You read that? I mean, but did he steal everything, or did he give Black people a platform to show our stories and our truth? If Norman Lear wouldn't have opened that door, would there have been a Good Times? Would there have been a Jeffersons?
I mean, that's what we celebrate, the fact that if he stole them, he put it out there. So kudos, rest in peace, Norman. He's dead.
Yeah, I just think that,
I read those stories.
I think that you need sometimes a white ally. I think Norman Lear was an ally, and everybody uses everybody. My mentor, Miss Brenda March Mitchell, told me, you can use me, just don't misuse me.
Come on.
So you could just don't, and I don't think, maybe contractually, but we wouldn't have known these stories, and white folks wouldn't have got a taste of what Black culture is if it wasn't for that gateway of Norman Lear. So, but maybe Orange, you know something I don't know. Put it in the chat. Hey. All right, folks. So we've had news, views, and faith this morning. So we're mixing it up. Reverend TULLOUS, before we let you go, what is your Black newspaper that you read in LA? You can have several. You don't have to have just one.
In LA, we got the LA Sentinel. We got the Inland Valley News. We have the LA Focus. We have the Standard. We have a whole lot of newspapers. But of course, I like to make my own news.
Okay. Well, at least 3 3 of them was members of the Black Press.
Our Weekly, all of those
You
newspapers.
forgot Our Weekly. Yeah.
Inland Valley News. I like that newspaper too.
You like the Inland Valley News. Okay,
Yes.
so
Even
there
though
you
I live in LA.
Even though you live in LA. All right, well, there you have it. Thank you so much for joining us. Let our folks know how they can check you out on Sunday mornings. You
can check me out at Weller Street Missionary Baptist Church, 129 South Bless Street. We'll be celebrating 18 years at Weller Street. Neil was there at the very beginning. So we asked you to come on out, a church where everybody is somebody, but God is everything. For those who would like to buy my book, go to www.kwtullos.org. Born to Make a Difference, a bestseller. Okay, now you just gave an appeal like this is local radio. This is for the world. So how do they look at your service? Oh, you can watch us live every Sunday on YouTube. Look for Weller Street Missionary Baptist Church. We're live every Sunday. We got I got more YouTube and Facebook followers than I got members that come to church. So y'all come on, y'all can be a part of them too. We're nationwide. Worldwide. All right, worldwide. Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow with more news, views, culture, and opinions right here. And in the meantime, between time, for the latest in Black news, head on over to blackpressusa.com. We'll talk to you tomorrow.